Welcome to our virtual ASG Town Hall. My name is Alexandra Montes de Oca. I am the ASG President. I am joined today by our VP of Internal Affairs, Rafael Carrillo, and our Superintendent President, Dr. Goswami. So the way that this is going to go is Rafael and I are going to interchangeably ask Dr. Goswami questions. Some of these questions have already been answered by administration, so we are going to include that response with the question. Any questions that are not asked today that have been submitted will be put on a document and will be answered by Dr. Goswami and sent out to the students at a later time. So we're just going to jump right into questions. The first topic is going to be on grades and current classes. The first question is asked, what is the process for excused withdrawal for my courses? This question has already been answered by Dr. Pamela Ralston, and she responds, students are asked to very carefully consider if withdrawing from a class is truly in their best interest. Understandably, tensions and anxiety are high, but due to considerable potential consequences such as reaching your educational goals, health insurance, and other unintended consequences, the college is working to support you through this time, and with patience, you may well succeed. If you're still currently registered in courses beyond the date of March 13th, 2020, and are impacted by the novel coronavirus COVID-19, you may request an excused withdrawal. We will be sending information about how to request an excused withdrawal to students later today. Before submitting this request, please talk to your instructor about challenges you may experience with remote learning. Your instructor may be able to identify alternatives conducive to your learning and provide resources to assist you with completing this course. Dr. Goswami, do you have anything more to add to this response?
Yeah, I can add a couple more things. My advice to students would be to wait till end of April because the window for withdrawing has been extended. So you can still withdraw at the end of April. Around that time, we'll get more clarity from the state in terms of what are the things we can do. If you withdraw right now, pretty much the work that you have done for the entire semester is gone. But if you wait till then, excused withdrawal is something, whether people know it very well or not, I don't know. But excused withdrawal does not affect your grades, nor does it affect your financial aid. And you can get an excused withdrawal after the semester ends. So you can actually see your grade and decide to withdraw. So that's why I'm advising students that don't get into a panic to withdraw right now. You may think, I'm sure some of you are having trouble with online classes. Stick with it as best as you can. Talk to your instructor, talk to counselors. But at the end, if you can stick with it, it may surprise you that you end up getting the grade that you really thought you were going to get. So, and the excused withdrawal, good part, as I mentioned, is that you can withdraw even after the semester ends. So that's why I want to advise students to stay with their courses to the extent possible.
All right, thank you.
Richie Smith asks, due to the circumstances of having to take all courses online, it makes it much more difficult to understand complex content, like upper division math and physics. Will there be an opportunity for students to apply for pass, no pass late for courses, or will the school be opting to grade the whole semester for all classes as pass-fail?
This is related to the question that was answered just before. There is an option to go to pass, no pass. But if you talk to the counselors and if you look at the transfer institutions, you'll find that it's going to hurt you if you get a pass, no pass. So again, that's why we are, as a community college system, we are working with CSU and UC to get pass, no pass accepted by UC and CSU. Okay. We don't know it whether they're going to accept pass, no pass as a transfer grade at some point in time. So that's why I'm asking people again, don't panic, because there is time to sort those things out. I'm hoping that in about 2 weeks, we will hear from UC and CSU and the Chancellor's office whether that's an option that we can make available. But to the extent you can get a letter grade, that helps you in your transfer work.
All right, thank you. Our next question, also about grades, is asked, rather than dropping out of the class, can President Goswami allow the incomplete and come back to finish or repeat the class in summer or fall? And Dr. Pamela Ralston answered, options for incompletes will be considered on a case-by-case basis at the discretion of the individual instructor. Do you have any more to add to that?
Yes, typically incomplete works at the discretion of the instructor, so that has not been taken away. So the instructor still have the option of giving on incomplete. It depends on the nature of work that was not completed, and the likelihood of that work being completed at some point in time in the summer. So, for example, if you're in a particular class and you're missing 1 or 2 experiments, and it is possible to do the experiment by yourself sometime in the summer when we hopefully can come back to campus, then the instructor might say, well, no, why don't you take an incomplete? No, I'll give you an incomplete, come back in the summer on a Saturday or Thursday, whatever, go to the lab and do these things, and that'll be great. So that option is always there. So again, talk to the instructor.
All right, thank you.
The next topic is summer classes. And the question is, will any summer classes already scheduled be changed as a result of shifting to online? And this was also, again, asked by another anonymous student. I was wondering if we were still going to have any summer classes this year. Dr. Pamela Ralston answered, we are moving the summer 2020 to online. Faculty are working now to implement as many offerings as possible. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, we are trying to do the best we can in terms of offering courses in the summer. So just for your information, in spring, we were able to move 97% of our classes online. So therefore, what I anticipate is a significant number of courses that we thought we were going to offer in the summer, we'll still offer. Okay. Only the ones that are physically impossible to be offered because it has a significant hands-on component, they will not be offered. So summer is online, and we look forward to having you here, whether you're at home or whether you're in an apartment here. Come and attend summer classes.
Excellent. All right. This question is asked by Karina Herrera. Will summer sessions 1 and 2 include courses that would normally be offered during the fall? If not, would you consider doing so in order to help students who are 1 course away from graduating? Such an improved measure could help students who have been displaced by this pandemic to graduate earlier as opposed to at the end of the year. And Dr. Pamela Ralston answered, we are working to adjust the summer to meet as many student needs as possible, and we are aware of this concern. Anything else to add?
I'll just add that I'm absolutely committed to making sure that we roll out all the possibilities so that students can graduate. So I know that because of what happened in the spring, there will be some students who will not be able to graduate. But we don't know who those students are at this point in time. But towards the end of the semester, we will know as to who the students are, and we will look at their records and figure out what is it that they are missing. And if possible, we will offer those courses in the summer, even if it is for 2 or 3 students. Because to me, it's very important that we pull out all the stops to allow students to finish their degree. Mm-hmm. So yes. We can make a determination at this point in time, but certainly by the end of the semester we'll know, and we'll get in touch with those students.
Okay, thank you. The next topic is student workers. I'm a federal work study student, and I was wondering if you could tell me what the future for students receiving federal work study would look like. I am a chemistry stockroom attendant, and so obviously I cannot work remotely. Will we continue to be paid for our scheduled hours if they are no longer allowed to work? And will we be able to work next semester or will we be compensated in some other way for the hours that we miss out on? This was already answered by Pamela Ralston. And the response was, student workers will be paid for their scheduled hours this semester. Beyond that is still being discussed.
And what I can add is that the newly passed bill from the federal government has a significant component of the money, at least half the money that comes to higher education is supposed to be emergency aid for students. So I have hope that there will be flexibility to continue to offer what we're offering this semester in terms of paying the students for the scheduled hours.
Okay. The next question is on the topic of commencement. The student by the name of Anna has asked, when is graduation going to be postponed to?
So here's what the plan is. We will do a virtual ceremony, but I know that's not ideal. So sometime when we open up, we'll also conduct a physical in-person ceremony where you can have all the music and you dress up and robes and everything else. So we will have that ceremony sometime after we open up. And we'll invite students to come to that, and they can participate in both the ceremonies, both the virtual ceremony and the in-person ceremony. But we haven't picked a date yet because we never know, when this we are in a situation where we can have large gatherings. So I would ask students to try and attend the virtual ceremony. We'll ask for your pictures and a quote from you, and at least some of us will dress up and kind of in a ceremonial robe, and then we'll put your picture up and put your quotes up there, and then you'll come back to participate again. So you'll get a diploma twice.
The next question is what you will be doing for students who are graduating to make the commencement experience special due to the circumstances. For example, cap and gown sent to them for free. And have you considered postponing graduation until late June?
Yeah, we
July or
already
August?
talked about it.
Explained
But
this.
I can tell you something about the cap and gowns. Well, the company that produces and rents cap and gown, they're closed. So if we decide to go ahead with a physical in-person ceremony, we wouldn't have received the cap and gowns because they're closed.
Yeah.
So big unknown, but certainly come September, October, I think we'll be able to have better idea of how to do the ceremony. And certainly for May, I'm open to ideas for how to have a virtual party.
All right, excellent. All right, the next question is on the topic of safety. Is there anything being done to test staff or potentially sick SBC students or are we just going to hope that they are all self-isolated? And will students continue to be informed if other members of SBCC test positive? This has been responded by Michael Shanahan, VP of Human Resources, and he says that the district is not conducting COVID testing for students or employees. All cases are handled by the Santa Barbara Public Health Department, including contact tracing and public communications regarding new cases.
Yes. In fact, we cannot do testing because we cannot even get access to the tests. So they're in short supply. So there is a protocol by which they determine who gets to be tested, and also to the extent possible, my commitment is to let you know that if somebody tests positive. But again, we have to be informed of that by the public health department. So if we get informed, I will certainly, just like in the last case, we informed you. By the way, that was the only case where in Santa Barbara County where you knew who was sick. Right now, if you go, all you know is that somebody from Santa Maria, or 5 people from Santa Maria, 4 people from Goleta, some people from Carpinteria, that area is sick. You don't know whether your neighbor is sick,
Right.
because the public health does not release that information. So there is they're protecting the privacy of people who are sick. Unlike in some other countries where they actually go and police goes and paints the house
Really?
with a mark to identify there is a sick person here.
Interesting.
It's kind of you to consider that the students can park in the parking lot to connect to Wi-Fi, to do work, lecture online. We do respect the practice social distancing very well when we attend those sessions, since we want to stay in good health. Can you also consider opening up a restroom on each side of the campus for the students' use? We will also practice that social distancing in using it. The response from Luis Reyes Martin says, our plan to allow students onto campus to utilize the campus Wi-Fi was reviewed by the County Public Health Department, and it is not advised that we make restroom facilities available at this time due to the risk of spreading the virus via the restrooms. We regard safety as the highest priority for students and advise them to use their restroom facilities in their homes.
All I'm going to add to that is that now this is something I really kind of pushed to the extent possible to open restrooms. In fact, I also broached the idea of bringing in porta potties. Now, if you cannot open the restrooms, why not bring in porta potties? But again, same thing, sanitary concerns and cleaning after each use and all of those things. So we just couldn't do it. So come here, empty your bladder, and then come here.
All right, the next question is on the topic of student accessibility / low-income students. The student by the name, I apologize if I pronounce this wrong, Giangao, G-A-O, asked, may the cashier's office open 1 or 2 days for students to pay their bills? And this was responded by Lindsay Moss. She says that regrettably, the cashier's office cannot open at this time, and therefore no cash payments can be accepted. However, students may pay online with all major credit cards or debit cards. If students do not have a credit card or debit card, they can purchase a prepaid Visa and pay their bill with a prepaid Visa card. Additionally, the cashier's office is accepting payments via check, money order, or cashier's check sent via USPS. However, due to slow mail processing times, this method is not recommended if paying for courses that require payment within the 7 days of registration. Anything else to add, or is that pretty much?
It pretty much says where we are.
Okay.
The next question was asked by a student by the name of Anna. How will you provide support for single parents on campus who are unemployed and need to support their children's education as well while having to do schoolwork? And this was answered by Pamela Ralston, saying that the SBCC Foundation is making emergency grants available. Do you have anything to add?
Yes, so I think the announcement for the grants came out Monday morning. And the limit for grants is up to $1,000. And I believe we received within the first 24 to 36 hours more than 1,000 requests.
Wow.
And the foundation staff is working overtime to to make sure that they're able to keep their promise of being able to provide money in 3 days' time. Mm-hmm. So their commitment was that they were going to provide, whoever is eligible, they'll provide the funds in 3 days, and they're trying to keep it. So at the end of it, we'll probably end up giving over $1 million in terms of emergency grant to students. Mm-hmm. However, this is only for emergency. This is not a long-term solution. So obviously, you have to look at some of the other funders and agencies and service organizations to find resources that can support you long-term. But for the short term, up to $1,000, we have about 1,000 students who will benefit from that program.
All right. The next question asks, you say you have 50 hotspots for low-income students, and they're only good until May 12th. Is that enough to meet low-income students' needs at SBCC for spring 2020 term? And what about summer term? Are you making sure low-income students have access to the internet by the first day of summer term? How are you doing that? And this was responded by Lindsay Moss. We plan to make hotspots available through the spring term and are reviewing the option to extend into the summer term. An addition was added by Pamela Ralston. There are many more hotspots available to meet students' needs. Anything else to add?
It is not 50, it is 500.
Oh, well, look at that.
So we'll have plenty of hotspots available for students. So the reason for May 8th or 10th, whatever the deadline was, because that's when the semester ends. So you bring it back, and then if you enroll back in the summer, you again will get back for the summer.
Okay.
And then if it continues for the fall, if you need some help in the fall, you can do the same thing for the fall. So basically, just like you check in a book or return it at the end of the semester, then you check back out again when the semester starts. Same process, kind of.
Okay.
The next topic of questions is about parking passes. And the first question is, will students get a refund for their parking passes due to COVID-19? Also asked again by another student, what's going to happen to the parking tickets that we had to pay for the semester? Will we be able to get a refund? This was already answered by Lindsay Mass. The deadline to drop classes with a refund was January 25th. At this time, campus security will not be issuing refunds for the spring semester parking on main campus. Additionally, no partial refunds will be issued. Do you have anything to add about that?
No, that's basically where we are.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have a couple more questions. We're actually going through these rather quickly. So we're
Well, actually, let me add something about refunds. No, it's not related to parking, but no. If we cancel a class, we will refund the fees. Okay. And then even on the withdrawals that we talked about very early at the beginning, about withdrawals, that if a student has withdraws from the class, we will be refunding the enrollment fees, which is the $46 that you pay.
Okay. All right. Next question. This one was asked by students about grades. How will SBCC handle in-person testing if the shelter in place is not lifted before May? For example, my online statistics class had an in-class exams. What will the procedure be for now? And Dr. Ralston responded, all exams will be online. Is that
Yep.
pretty?
I mean, obviously, our plans had to change. So now, instructors are still trying to figure out how best to conduct the online exam. So probably, they're still trying to figure out how best to conduct the exam. But it'll be some form of an online exam.
Okay.
The next question falls under the topic of summer classes. Will the DSPS lab be open to register for summer classes this year? The answer that Pamela Ralston supplied was that we will provide support for online registration. Can you expand on that?
So basically, we are eliminating person-to-person contact. So that's the reason as to why we are not having the cashier's office open, and such. Some things that we cannot do from home, for example, our switchboard. We cannot move our switchboard from here to somebody's home. So our switchboard operator is actually coming here, okay? But is in a locked room, so there's no contact with somebody else. So same thing with the DSPS. But again, that's a plan at this point in time, okay? Clearly, if it comes end of May, early June, and the governor says, it's okay to have, no more than 10 people in a room, okay, we will change immediately. But with the information that we have at this point in time and what we think is going to happen for the next month and a half, I mean, that's about the safest thing we can do.
Okay. The next question is under the topic student accessibility and low-income students. How are you protecting low-income students from failure by providing a means for low-income students to get access to free internet, such as how K-12 school administrators negotiated with Cox for their students' equal access to internet connectivity? Paul B. Cox currently has a low-cost plan for all residential customers, not just K-12. The college is also making Sprint Wi-Fi hotspots and laptops available to students at no cost. That was a response by Dr. Ralston. Anything
Yes,
else?
and we have distributed over 300 or 300 plus Chromebooks, and we still have a supply of Chromebooks that we can distribute. So when students come in and mention that we are either I don't have the right equipment technology or we don't have access to internet, I think at this point we have been able to accommodate every student that had expressed that need. I'm hoping we stay there and to the point where we can accommodate every student's need. And if it comes to that we run out of those things, then we'll do some more fundraising and buy some more equipment.
The last question that we have on this list comes from a student in the music department. I have a musical instrument in a music department locker, along with gym materials in a gym locker. When can I collect these belongings? The answer that Les Reyes Martin answers is that students may contact SBCC campus security to arrange for retrieval of items from lockers. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. We are not conducting in-person activities on campus. That doesn't mean the campus has become a dangerous place. No, campus is still the same campus because nobody's been sick here, and because nobody's around, it's probably a safer place than going to a store. So it is okay to come to campus to pick up things, but since the buildings are closed, you have to make an appointment with whoever it is that can open the door to pick it up. So yes, contact security, and they will give you time, and you can come in and take your things.
All right, excellent. So that is all the questions we have on a list. Those questions were submitted earlier as yesterday evening, and so I was able to put them on a document. Some students are submitting a few questions today, and there's one or two I would like to ask.
I'll answer them.
And then before we close down today. So we have one question that was asked by a student. She asked her name to be read aloud. Stella, I'm so sorry, I'm going to pronounce your last name terribly. Sapasapur, Stella S. has asked, how do we get our graduation certificates to be sent home?
As you do your graduation application, you put in your mailing address, and we'll mail it there.
Sounds good. All right, second question asked by Cameron Campi. Cameron asks, will there be a refund on lab classes?
If we cancel the class, yes. But again, remember, we converted 97% of our classes online, including some of the lab classes. So there will be a few classes that we cannot conduct online. We'll be canceling those, and we'll be refunding.
Excellent. So the other two questions that I see on here have already been asked by previous students today. So no more questions from us at this time.
So I got a question by email from a student who was, the question was about, obviously I'll be looking for a job. So should I be applying for a job or should I wait? Okay. And I'm sure there are a lot of students thinking the same, should I apply for jobs right now or should I wait till things improve? My point is, in some areas, people are still doing hiring. So depending on the area that you are in, your specialty or or the kind of job you're looking for, if you're in the allied health field, certainly apply for a job because people are still hiring. If you're thinking about working in some of the areas that are deemed essential services, people are still hiring. So definitely brush up on your, finish your resume. No harm sending it to a few places. And then as things improve, keep sending it more. So don't give up, Things will be tight for the next 2-3 months. It'll be most difficult until we get below the curve, as we've been talking about the curve, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to get past the peak before we begin to see that, maybe 4 weeks from now or 6 weeks from now, things might return to some sort of a normal. Okay. And I can tell you that some sort of a normal that we are looking at for the next 6-8 months would be to be able to live with some risk. That the disease will still be around, virus will still be around. It's not just as prevalent as what it is right now. Mm-hmm. So I guess stay tuned, like we all are, trying to figure out what the next steps would be. But to the extent possible, as students of Santa Barbara City College, we are committed to making sure that even under these circumstances, we give you the best opportunity at an education.
Okay. Do you have any questions to ask, Raphael?
I don't have any questions. I do have one last thing to add to the students, if I could.
Absolutely.
Sure. I think the most important thing for all of us to do going forward in this very alien situation for all of us is to stay calm. Don't let what the media says or what your friends say to you scare you. Make sure that you continue to live normally, stay calm, definitely follow the rules, but don't let what anyone says get you down. Continue to learn, continue to do schoolwork, and continue to live your life just as you would before. But make sure that you also make the right decisions. Don't go to a party. If you don't need to go outside, maybe choose to stay home. But above all else, stay calm, stay collected, and stay a great community. And I will see you guys all when we open back up the campus.
Indeed. All right. I want to thank Dr. Goswami for being here to answer the student questions. I anticipate that we might have a second town hall in a month or so, just to keep everybody updated, gathering some more questions from the students. Right. I think this was very successful. I want to thank everything that you're doing for City College, and just hearing you answer your questions makes me even more proud to be a student here at City College, that everybody that works here is definitely for the students and making sure we're helping them as much as we can through everything that everybody is going through at this time.
So thank you all. Great words. My advice to all students is going to be that you are not alone. So talk to your friends, talk to your instructors, talk to the counselors, send a note to me. I will respond. In fact, I'll probably respond to I'd say I have responded to almost 90% of all the emails that came to me from students. And the other 10%, I'll get to it at some point in time. So if you send me an email, I'll respond to you also. So keep in touch, and wish you the best for the end of the semester. Bye-bye.
Thank you.